Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We have Rob from Newcore Games talking about a very cool game that caught my eye at the mix-up. This is a action platformer. Rob, why don't you introduce yourself, take it away, and tell us all about the game you brought on today.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Rob. I'm the communication manager of Newcore Games, and I'm basically here to talk about the Devil Within Satgat. And what it is a action adventure platformer. We take a lot of beats from games that we played when we were growing up, things of like Metrovania based games, such as Castlevania, Mega Man X, all these types of platforms that we grew up on. And we also took beats from newer games that came out, like Sekiro and all these kind of things. And we try to merge a cool concept in together. What
is the story? What's going on here with the Devil Within Satgat?
So essentially what happens is that in this world that Kim Rip, the main character, is in, a mysterious black wedge called the Ebon Sting, and these are being still localized, comes into play, and a substance comes out. And even though this country profits off of this substance, what it does is it demonizes, it devilizes the populace as a whole. And so Kim Rip and his comrades go out to try and solve this issue. And a lot of twists and beats come along the way where Kim Rip is also being devilized. So it's a race against time. There's a blur between good and bad and protagonist and antagonist. And you kind of go through this story. And it's somewhat of an epic, but you go through this story.
That sounds awesome. Who are we fighting exactly then?
It's a bit of, in the prologue, what you'll see, and if you've seen some of the trailers as well, there's these devilized or demonized characters that you see. And so you're going off against them. The story also does begin with a betrayal of Kim Rip as a whole, and it's one of his comrades. And he goes off and tries to solve the mystery of all of this. What is the Ebon Sting? What is causing the demonization of people? What's this evil, a seed of evil that's growing in him? And why are humans not only trying to take advantage of this, but using the seed of evil from the Ebon Sting as a whole?
That's awesome. Dude, where do they pull some inspiration from?
A lot of our inspirations come from older games. So in terms of gameplay, we take a look at, like as I mentioned before, Castlevania. We look at Sekiro in terms of the pairing system, which I'll talk about in just a moment. We look at level designs from classic platformers such as Mario-based games, the Mega Man X series games. And we kind of just wanted to make our own system as a whole. So in Sekiro and modern-based games, it's based on combat. And we wanted to mix this combat with platforming. So we have something called the 집중 반격 system, which is directly translated to concentrated counterattack. And you have to parry at the right time. And this comes from the inspiration of if you watch movies and animations where a character gets super concentrated and hyper-focused and everything around him moves in slow motion. But he's able to make these judgments, snap judgments, and move at the speed of sound kind of thing. This is what Kim Rip is able to do. And so as long as you parry correctly, you dodge correctly, and you attack consistently, you'll be able to build this gauge and take advantage of these really cool cinematic skills.
There's a lot of abilities going on, a lot of flash kind of happening on screen too. Can you talk about the sparkle behind some of this gameplay?
Absolutely. So that is the concentrated counterattack system that I'm talking about, where you build up a gauge, and then as you parry correctly, as you dodge correctly, you'll be able to use one of these massive skills. One of the things that we wanted to kind of focus on was the style, but also to make sure it feels natural. If you're able to spam these skills consistently, then the payoff isn't there. So you have to build the gauge accordingly. And once that gauge is at a certain level, you'll be able to use different skills in different situations.
Sounds awesome. Rob, you and I were just talking just off camera quickly about the studio is based over in Korea, and what you guys are actually creating is something unique that's not really found over there.
Absolutely. So as many people probably already know, South Korea is very much focused on, let's say, online-based games or MMORPGs, arena fighters and stuff like this. What Newcore Games is trying to do now is create an action-adventure platformer. And this isn't really common in Korea. Amongst startups and indie games as well in Korea who focus on pixel art, we've really focused on bringing a 2.5D graphic to the game, but include the combat systems of modern games.
It's awesome. Dude, the art style hooked me instantly when I saw the trailer. I was like, yo, I gotta find out what's going on here. Now, the studio also made a mobile game before, is that correct?
Absolutely. So the mobile game was called I Am Zombie.
Yeah.
And it was kind of our first foray into making games as a whole. And once we kind of figured out something with that, we figured, okay, well, we know how to make games. We have the staff for it. If we bring on a few more people, we can make a really cool platformer. And this is what everyone on the team has kind of grown up with. And as you touched on the art style, that was what our art team, who are fantastic, by the way, what they wanted to do was go beyond pixel art, but also kind of bring it back from 3D and see if they can make a mix of it all. And I think they're doing a stand-up job. I'm super excited for people to get their hands on this game.
Well, when we do get our hands on it, what platforms are we on?
At the moment, we're aiming for PC, so basically Steam.
Sure.
And we're hoping to get that ready by Steam Next Fest, or something like that, like a demo of some sort, whatever the case may be, so we can get player feedback. Once we've focused on the PC version, and once that has been kind of dealt with and released and people are enjoying it, we can start focusing on the console section. But since the console side is a little bit more in the future, right now we're focusing primarily on PC.
Excellent. Rob, before I let you go, what's the most exciting part about this game so far for you?
Honestly, as I think many people have seen during the Mixed Spring 2023 trailer, as well as I think the Tokyo Game Show trailer, our boss fights are not just a platforming section. The boss fight that you see in the trailer is kind of reminiscent of a fighting game. You kind of have to go back and forth a bit. You kind of have to judge your distance, and you really have to know what the enemy is going to do and how to best counterattack that. And so it's a lot of cool elements blended together, what with the concentrated counterattack system as well. It makes for, some people might think it's a fighting game, but it's not. But it's a really cool element added to it, and I'm really excited for people to try that out.
That's awesome. How can they learn more about the game?
They can visit the official website, and we've just started up our social media channel. So the official website is newcoregames.com, and you can kind of see a blurb over there. You can go to the Steam page for the Devil Within Satgat and wishlist there. And more information will be popping up on the Steam wishlist page, the social media channels, and the website as we go further ahead.
Rob, thank you so much for your time. Let's head back to the show.